Hi, I'm Teresa,
Hi, I'm Violet.
and we're here today to teach you how to make this headband and this necklace. The headband is a technique called finger knitting, and the necklace is a technique called finger crochet. So Violet, tell us what we need.
We need yarn, and we need scissors, and our hands.
But before we get started, let's talk about your yarn. Your yarn, there are many different kinds of yarn. There's worsted yarn, there's wool yarn, there's cotton yarn, there's lots of different kinds of yarn. You can use any kind of yarn to do this technique. It's very similar to real knitting and real crochet in that you're using a needle or a hook, and we're just using your fingers as that needle or that hook. Because our fingers are so large, we want a large yarn. Right, Vi? So what it does is it makes it tighter. Is there a reason why we'd want it to be tighter?
So that it looks better, because when it's loose, it doesn't look so good, because it looks like it's just gonna fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why. And this is what tight looks like. It's pretty.
So to get started, you're going to take your yarn, where there's two different parts of your yarn. There's your tail. Your tail is the one that is not connected to anything. And then the other one is your ball. It could be a skein, it could be a ball, it could be just another tail, but it's just the other side is what we mean. So the first thing that we'll start with is finger crochet. Sometimes this is also called finger knitting. I call it finger chaining. Vi calls it finger chaining, and Vi's gonna show you how to do it.
So you make an X for this, I call it a slip knot. I'm not really sure why it's called a slip knot, but so it makes an X. You take your ball yarn and put it through the loop, and then pull these two while you pull this one back, and it kind of looks like you made a knot, but that's actually okay if you make like a knot. And then you have a big loop. If the loop is like, let me show you. If the loop is that big, I'll show you how to trim it. You pull your ball string out, and then it goes like that. But if you make it too small, then you have to pull it like that. But then you can just trim it if you need to. So don't finger chain your tail, because that will lead to problems. So you take your ball yarn, and so I always say kind of like a verse. I say.
So right now Violet has a slip knot, and that's how you begin the chain. So to create the chain after that so that it looks like this, you have to then begin chaining it. So how do we start doing that, Chick?
So you take your thumb and your pointer finger and you put them through, and it's like a birdie's beak peeking through a little hole, and it finds the long skinny worm, this worm, not this worm, and you grab it with these two, and then you take your other hand and then I call this the helper bird, which you use all of your fingers, and then you pull this in, and then you do that, and it kind of looks like you just made another knot, and that's how it works. That's how you do it.
Do it a few more times, Vi.
So
Wash your hands.
the bird peeks through the hole, finds the long skinny worm. The helper bird helps it get the treat. And then if it gets too big, remember, you just pull your ball yarn, and then you keep on saying, the bird gets the treat. The bird gets the long skinny worm, and the helper bird helps it get the treat. The bird peeks through the hole, finds the long skinny worm, and the helper bird helps it get the treat. The birdie peeks through the hole, finds the long skinny worm, and the helper bird helps it get the treat.
Awesome. So let's look really close at how that's turning out. See how pretty that is? So how many of those should we be doing? How many of those are you going to do?
Probably about as much as you want your necklace to be.
Yep.
I didn't really count mine, I just made it long.
Just make it long. So you can measure your neck, or you can measure your wrists, or measure whatever that you want to measure, or you just go forever and make an awesome necklace and loop it all up.
I made a jump rope. I needed 3 of these. 2 were white, and 1 was my sunset kind of color yarn. And
It's okay.
And I braided it together, and then we put handles at the end, and I finger knitted that, so I jump rope a lot, kind of, because it's my jump rope.
So you can make a jump rope like this? That's cool.
If you want it to be, not, I recommend doing like, you could use small yarn, but you probably might want to do like, you might want to knit finger chain the 3 of them, and then just braid them together, and then it works super strong.
That makes sense.
And the yarn that I use, it stretches, so if you need it longer, you can just stretch it. Sometimes that's what yarn likes to do. Stretch.
True that. So now that Violet's shown you how to do finger
chain.
So now that Violet's shown you how to do a finger chain, I'm going to show you how to do a finger knit. I'm going to show you from this camera. So I will be moving my hand to show you what I see. So I have my big yarn and I have my tail. And I'm going to put my hand to my face, and I'm going to wrap the tail so that the ball is behind my hand and the tail is in my palm. So if you close your hand, you're holding onto the tail. So knitting, if you knit, you know that it weaves in and out. Weaving is another way to describe this. So we're using our fingers as the posts to weave, and we're going to go in and out. So this is going to hang here, and I'm going to take my tail and I'm going to go behind, then in front, then behind, then in front. So now we're kind of just skipping fingers. So we're open, in front, open, and in front. So from the front to the back, behind your pinky, in front of your ring finger, behind your middle finger, in front of your pointer finger. And I just sort of lay it like this because it makes sense. So it's got now a weave. So you only have one. Can't really do anything with one. You're going to pick that ball back up and go behind, in front, behind, in front, behind, in front, behind, in front, behind. So now we have, it sort of creates an X so you know that you're at that complete stage. This swings back here, so you look like this. You got 2 in the back, you've got 2 in the front. This is the point where you do the catch or the roll or the pull over, whatever you want to call it. Take the bottom, always the bottom, and roll it over the top. Bottom to the top, bottom to the top, bottom to the top. So now you have 1 and 3. And you're going to continue doing this. See this? It has to catch. So you're going to bring it back to the front, front to back, back to front, back to front, back to front, so that you have 2. And you're going to continue just like that.
Even though it looks kind of weird in the back, like you did something wrong, kind of look like you just messed up into a knot. but that's really how it's supposed to look. Even though this kind of looks like it's not like that, it's just, it got longer, so it looks nicer when it gets longer. It just looks like a big knot.
Yep.
Kind of.
At first it does look like a big knot. And when it starts to flatten, it starts to look really pretty. Can I see this so that I could show it closely?
Mm-hmm.
So I did this on my hand. No, Violet did this on her hand. And it turns out looking like it was very much knitted. It's flat and it sort of rolls because it's only 4. And then it rolls back up. How pretty it is. So here, Vi, come close to me.
Okay.
While I do this, Vi, can you tell me what you like about knitting and handwork?
I like handwork because I get to sit with my friends and everybody's on different stages on their handwork. For example, one of my friends is like on a 3rd grade level on it with it. And for that's actually kind of true.
It's true.
She's like on a 4th grade level, kind of.
What grade are you in?
I'm in 3rd grade.
Mm-hmm. And Violet's talking about grades because her school, we go to a school called the Waldorf School of DuPage, and they teach hand knitting and knitting and crocheting class.
And different grades have different handwork things. Like 1st grade, you learn how to knit a flute bag because we play like a pentatonic flute. And then like in 8th grade, you learn how to make pajama pants with a sewing machine.
It's cool.
And like in 2nd grade, you learn how to make your own gnome and a rainbow ball. So that's kind of like, they're all kind of different and you use different tools for them. And then in 3rd grade, you learn how to make a hat and a 5-sided mat, which is kind of like a placemat.
Mm-hmm. By what other things can we make doing this?
We can I made a scarf doing that when I was going to 1st grade.
Mm-hmm.
You can make a headband, finger chaining. You can make a jump rope with both of these.
Mm-hmm. What about decorations?
You could make like that. You can make it go around like a baby tree because they're super small. And then you just make a whole bunch and stitch them together and then it just goes up.
Mm-hmm.
Up on the tree.
True.
You could use them, you could knit something. You can crochet something. You can
But you can also, finger chaining and finger knitting are the basics of learning how to crochet and how to knit. This and weaving too, I believe. So now that we've gotten pretty long, I'm going to show you how to end it. So we've got 1, so we're going to finish putting our 2nd one on so that we have the 2. So I'm going to flip this and I'm going to delete that too. So now that we have reached a length that's pretty long that we can make a headband out of, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to end it. So if you do know how to knit, this is just casting off. You're going to take this loop and put it on this loop, like that. And you're going to take the bottom loop and flip it over. You're going to take this loop and put it on this finger, and take the bottom and flip it over. Take this loop and put it on this finger, and take the bottom and flip it over. So now you have just this lone loop. You have this little loop over here. What you're going to do is hold this. You're going to pull this to tighten that side loop guy over here that was sticking out. And then you're going to cut your tail. Make sure you have enough room on your tail that you have enough to make it a headband if you are making it into a headband. And you put your tail into your loop and you tighten, and now it's secure. That's finished. So you see how it just sort of rolls up and it looks like a fishtail. That's super pretty.
And now, now Teresa can make it into a headband.
Or even another necklace.
It could be like a choker, kind of.
Yep, it can.
And
So
you can make finger knitting into a headband.
Yes, you can. So Violet wanted to show you what happens if you cut your finger chain.
It's very sad. It's very sad.
So the thing with the chain is that you're just pulling the thread in and out of itself. It's fully intact and it's not knotted. So when if you clip it, you take it apart, you end up with these frayed edges that becomes little finger crochet guys.
Yeah, and if you just keep on pulling it, it'll just come off and off and off.
One side will tighten and one side will fall apart. So be very careful when you're cutting not to cut into what you've already created.
And try not to cut super close to it, like leave it like this much.
At least, right? Because you got to tie a knot.
Yeah, because you got to tie a knot. Plus, and if you go super close, it might also come undone. I've done that before.
Mm-hmm.
With it just coming undone.
It's true. If I show how much you've got finished.
I got a lot done. So I started with the purple. Well, there was a little bit of blue. And then there was purple, and then it transformed to red. And then I went to blue pretty much, and then I ended here.
Mm-hmm. We've got a nice variegated wool. So what you can do here is, because it's so long, you can make it a hanging tapestry in your house. You can roll it around your wrist. You can make a long necklace with it. You can do whatever you want. Vi, is there anything, last thing we should add? I think that's it. If anybody has any questions for me or Violet about anything that we talked about, please feel free to find me on Facebook. I'm Teresa Fiehn Millies, and this is Violet.
I don't have anything.
Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed.
You just have to pull this loop.
Oh, that's what we forgot. I knew we were forgetting something.
No, you said to end it, and then you just said bye, guys, and then you just explained everything. I'm like,
my fault. You gotta know how to end it.
And you can't just leave it like a loop.
No. So she cut it from the ball, and then.
So you take the loop. Don't pull this, because then it will come out.
It'll unravel. The whole thing will be gone.
Yeah. So sad. And then you pull this loop. It's out, and then it makes a knot. And if you wanted to keep doing it, but you already knotted it, there's no way you're gonna unknot it.
You can make another slip knot and keep going, but it's better just to make a new one and tie them together.
Yeah.
So now, anything else we've forgotten? Nope. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you for watching.